American multinational companies have had a huge presence at the ongoing second CIIE. I hosted a CEO roundtable. Let's hear what they have to say about China-U.S. trade and even technological cooperation. Hello, I'm Tian, and welcome to the CEO Roundtable on the side of the second China International Import Expo. Happy to be joined here by Alexa Dembek, who is the Senior Vice President and Chief Technology and Sustainability Officer of DuPont. What a pleasure to see you here in Shanghai.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here today.
Thank you so much for joining us. And Mr. Feng Huo, who is the Agilent Vice President. Welcome as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. You know, what is it that you can tell people around the world about what you just experienced over the past few days here at the second China International Import Expo?
I can't wait to tell people about the vibrant atmosphere, about the focus on collaboration, on innovation, and with President Xi's opening remarks yesterday on the need for sustainability. Really an exciting time.
Innovation, cooperation, sustainability. That's the key word you got over there.
Very important.
What about for you, Mr. Huo?
Yeah, I would like to talk about CIIE first. Everybody knows in the last couple of years, everybody observed economic globalization is a little bit slowing down. This time, Chinese government, announced CIIE since last year. This year is second year, which should be a very good sign of China committed to keep opening up to outside world.
Well, that's exactly the word Chinese President Xi used at the very beginning of the CIIE at the opening ceremony, and also focusing on intellectual property to your company. I guess that is extremely important because you're focusing so much on sustainability and innovation. DuPont.
It is, absolutely. So for DuPont, our mission is empower the world with the essential innovations to thrive. And all of that relies on partnership, relies on our ability to drive intellectual property, and to have collaboration across our companies and countries.
I notice you use the word partnership because right now people say, oh, there's a threat, possibly not partnership, but rather decoupling. I'm not sure whether from a business leader's perspective, how do you see that?
Oh, I think from a business leaders, we know that in order to innovate, we need points of view from all over the world. We need to have local customer needs in China. We need to have local customer needs everywhere. So I think the spirit of partnership will prevail.
What is the local customer's needs this time you have noticed?
Well, I think there are some big themes that we're focusing on.
Like what?
Connectivity and mobility, healthy living, urbanization and safety, and environmental protection. And I think those needs are very real. They all require development. They all require innovation.
Right. Agilent also is a technology company.
Yes, innovation is a DNA of Agilent technology. Every year we spend 8% of our annual revenue in R&D. So we basically, our growth is all driven by innovation and R&D as well. You just mentioned the IP as well. We are concerned IP protection very, very much. But good news is Chinese government is making significant progress in IP protection.
What do you mean
for
by
everyone?
Progress?
Actually, just...
Is it because you are sitting here in the studio of CGTN, China Central TV, and that's why you say nice things?
Yes, just in September 1st, we had a press release with Chinese government fair treatment. We just got very good settlement of IP protection case in China, so which make a company feel more comfortable and confident about China's policy in IP protection.
I see. He has his own case studies to work on, but what about for your company? So how is that communication going on, let's just say, between business community, yours, for example?
Well, very similarly, we're also interested in making sure we maintain intellectual property. One of the important ways that we do it is by building our innovation centers out. We have a major innovation center in Shanghai. Actually, we have a reopening of it, a bigger, broader center tomorrow. Through that, innovation comes from many places. It comes from market intimacy, understanding needs, as well as IP. So I think that collection together is what helps us to make sure we can be successful in China.
Well, what's likely to be the, the near future situation when negotiation probably is still going on, when you have still elections going on in the United States? Will there be more China's innovation for the China market, a U.S. innovation for the U.S. market? How does that work?
Typically our innovation is very global in terms of technology development, but then we apply it locally to solutions that customers here need. So for example, on connectivity and mobility, we're very involved in new materials development for 5G, which we know is important in the China market. So new materials developed globally, applied locally. Very important.
5G, almost like a sensitive word these days, even though it is the ultimate technology probably we need to use in the future. How do you look at that? Companies that are involving in some kinds of political debate inside the United States, at least coming from China. What do you say, Alexa, about that situation? How are you tapping into the potential of 5G?
We focus on what we can control, and what we can control is our innovation pipeline into new materials.
What are the innovation pipeline? Help us to understand it.
So for example, in healthy living, our ability to deliver new probiotics, new natural food ingredients, those are all market needs that we know exist in China. So all of our innovations are against what we can develop globally and then provide locally.
What about 5G, since you mentioned about that? What is that channel, as you just said?
So for 5G, the important part there is to develop new materials to allow the end users to implement 5G. So we're all about materials development and the ability to do that everywhere.
So you see huge potential market here in China about that, and as a result of it, all over the world?
Around the world. I think it's a trend that's undeniable around the world. Everyone wants faster communications. I have 3 sons. They all want to download movies more quickly, right?
Yeah.
Yes, well, they promise with 5G it's going to be very quick.
I think it will be. Let's see.
And here, in fact, they offer 5G service in this CIIE, the second CIIE, right here on the site. Did you try it?
We have it at our booth.
Oh, great.
Yes.
That's wonderful. I need to visit your booth
Please
later.
come by. We'd love to have you. Please come by.
I'm sure it's going to be fun. What about for you, Mr. Huo?
We are convinced that we will benefit very much from 5G, the technologies, something, because our target customers are all analytical labs customers, life science, labs customer, even diagnostic labs customer. They need a 5G technology to connect them all together. Customer need to connect their equipment, their lab and result from anywhere, anytime, and work all of the data all together. 5G technologies will play a big role to improve human conditions and human life. And we want to benefit from that one.
I just don't understand how come the business people are saying what you have just said. Well, some, let's just say, in the capitals are saying exactly the opposite. Didn't they hear your voice? I mean, don't they know what the business needs?
For sure, we are crossing our fingers to break those uncertainties will not be lasting too long. And on the other side, we believe there will always be some uncertainties from time to time, which are inevitable. As a business, from a company perspective, as a number one, we always wish a market environment condition become better. But on the other side, we will continuously focus on our innovation, focus on our innovation, operational efficiency, to hopefully we can pass through the uncertainties. And we believe our customers will have similar journey as well. How we can help a customer to improve their efficiency and there's such kind of uncertainty. And meanwhile, aim on the bright future. That is our way.
It seems like you're trying to suggest, let's clean our house first to prepare for the better future. Is that what you're trying to say?
Sure, sure.
Should we be patient about what's going on right now? Or should we really speak up and try to interact so that we can overcome this hiccup or maybe a storm? We never know. Mr. Huo, what do you think?
China is the second, the largest single country economy That is a fact. Nobody can ignore China market. That's our takeaway.
Here's a testimony of that,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
Right here.
of
course,
CIIE,
right
of
here.
course. Second fact is even GDP, maybe slowing down quite a bit. For example, 5%. I'm not going to make a projection of China economy, but just say 5%. But if you look at around the world,
Yes.
5% is still outstanding GDP growth rate.
That's
If
right.
we consider second largest single country economy.
If you look at the 2030, which is United Nations SDGs, it's an aspiration. We all know that. There is a huge gap between the realities and the goals. So from a company's perspective, what can you contribute to speed up this process, particularly at a time, as Mr. Huo mentioned, and everybody agree, of uncertainty?
We just launched our 2030 goals this week. So reducing CO2 emissions by 2030 by 30% and being carbon neutral by 2050.
Well, now the priority should be national security. How come you are still putting sustainability as the top priority? You are mixing things up. Maybe that's not the way to go.
For DuPont, our priority is innovation to thrive. And innovation to thrive is absolutely critical for science and technology, and sustainability is part of it. So these things go together to deliver a company and a business strategy that's winning, that solves customer problems, that creates value, not just for DuPont, but the whole point of sustainability is to solve big world-scale problems.
That is the real national security, isn't
It is. It comes down to zero hunger, clean water, health and wellness. Right? Those are the real issues of sustainability, and that's where science and innovation matter.
I like the fact that Alexa is trying to say, let's deal with, quote-unquote, the real issues. Mr. Huo, for your business, the same?
Yeah, pretty much similar. We share same philosophy with two companies. We focus on the making contribution to environmental protection, food safety, and high discovery of new drugs, and also fight cancer, all stuff. All about improving human conditions. So that's we share the same one. That is boundless, and no boundary should be the worldwide, regardless of people. They should be treated equally well. That's our mission.
So what exactly is the potential of the Chinese market? Of course, we see the Chinese want to incorporate the best from all over the world into their lives. So to what extent do you see the real potential of Chinese consumers?
As a business leader, we also try to be realistic. China has enjoyed
some basis we are
high
saying, trying
speed.
to be realistic.
Yeah, high speed.
Okay.
I'm lucky guy to got a good experience in last many decades.
Right.
At least 3 decades.
Oh, we got some
Decades
disco
high
music going on
double-digit,
in the
high
background, by the way.
double-digit growth.
Okay.
That is it is still okay. Even we down to the single digit, then hopefully come back. Even not come back, high single digit growth, still quite a positive growth. We don't need to be pessimistic about that one. We should come with one and live with one and hope for someday can be back high double
at least
digit.
the background music right here outside the booth is very upbeat. But to you, Alexa, about that too, what is the reality that we need to deal with, and how can we deliver to the customers what they need at exactly the right time that they need it? I think that's the art of business. And how do you think about that art?
I think two things are critical. The first one is...
It's like PowerPoint, two things.
Two things, that's it. Just
Go
two
ahead,
things.
go ahead.
I wish they were both easy.
Go ahead.
The first is high quality innovations based on what customers need. So really having the right insight to know what to develop, that's critical. The second one, though, is even more important, and it's what we've already discussed. The pace of change is so fast. Innovation has to be able to keep in sync. And for a materials innovation company like DuPont, we've got to speed up our innovation. And the way to do that is through collaboration.
I want to challenge one of the things you just mentioned, Alexa. For example, about the changes and what you just said. It's interesting because it's very hard to think about technologies. They're changing so fast, and the nature of technology sometimes is unpredictable. For example, how could you, in the 1950s and 60s, the early rounds of AI, be able to think about what it is doing right now, right? It's almost impossible. So how would you be able to provide the customers at a time when all the technologies come together and bring them a ready product? That is the art, isn't it?
It is. You know, in DuPont, what we talk about, the most important skill today is the ability to learn. How do we learn faster? Because you're right, we can't predict the future.
No, you can't.
But we can learn and pivot and drive changes much more quickly.
How would you learn faster?
Well, that's what we're excited about, is the way we learn faster is by relentless collaboration. Collaboration with academics, collaboration with other companies, collaboration with governments. Because together, everyone has a different viewpoint on the perspective that it takes to win. So speed and learning go together, and I think they're ever more important.
What are the things that you are learning from the Chinese academic circles? What are the things you're learning from the Chinese business people you're dealing with, from the Chinese government, things who are sitting here in China? Give us some examples.
You know, I had great examples today at our booth, and the examples all came in terms of a customer insight connected to speed. It takes new technology to be able to do that, and we can have partners that can do it locally with speed. So the combination of the two is really powerful.
Probably it's also similar, if not more, for your company.
Yes, and the market changing so fast, customer needs and even behavior changes so fast. Maybe I can give you an example. Is you know, during the high speed, high growth rate era, you know, people make capital investment, you know, very aggressively. But right now, they're a little bit slowing down, may focus on more about organizational efficiency, life efficiency as well. So they may need some to buy some services from a company like Agilent, but it used to be they are doing everything by themselves, even the instrument repair. But right now, if you take like a younger generation, because they spend too much time on smartphone, they don't want to do some handmade stuff repair. They need some more professional service providers like us to do you know, things and more effectively help them improve their efficiency. That generates a new business, new solution portfolio from us, and also make whole industry become more efficient as well.
It seems that's what smart businesses are about, isn't it? You always find opportunities no matter what exactly the situation or reality needs to deal with. The other thing is about really encouraging innovation. That is a question I guess a lot of people are asking and trying to answer on a daily basis, whether it's for governments or businesses or academias. How does that work? What do you think will drive innovation? We talk so many areas of innovation, whether it's 5G, AI, just to say a few, and you have genes and other science technologies. How do you think these would work together eventually? What is really driving the real innovation?
For me, the most important ingredient in innovation is having a good problem to solve. Once we know what problem to solve, we can focus on that and then bring together all the capabilities that it's going to take to solve that problem. So focusing on growth that's based on really important and valuable problems to solve, customer problems. That's the key. And being able to know and understand what they are. Like a wonderful example around laboratories driving productivity. For DuPont, it's around how are humans more healthful by taking probiotics. For brain health, for digestive health. And then we can develop probiotics to be able to tackle those challenges. So focusing on problems that will have a big difference. And that's the connection also back to sustainability. The UN Sustainable Development Goals, it gives the roadmap. What are all the big problems that the world needs to solve? So it's a wonderful combination. Sustainability and innovation.
Problem solving. That's the key for Alexa to find the real drive for innovation. What about for you, Mr. Huo?
I would like to add, 100% agree with the comments. You must have a diverse team. Diversity will make a lot of creative ideas. Maybe someone will make a company or technology make a breakthrough. You know, you must have a diverse team and open for the different ideas, concept, and even sometimes even the debate. You know, MNC has a unique advantage in that area. We have a global diversity in nationwide, worldwide. You know, people work together, so got a different perspective. I got a quality brainstorming, come up with the idea, and the disciplined collaboration eventually will have to make a true innovation for whatever, you know, technology, process, business model.
You know, we're here at the Shanghai International Import Expo, the second one this year. But people are wondering whether this is just an expo. You know, you buy things, you sell things. That was the original belief of what the interpretation of expo is. But now expo is more about platforms. It's about, on this platform, let's think about things that we can do together. Let's exchange ideas and probably even culture. Let's buy things, but also with the mind that maybe there's something more than what we just do right now. So, Alexa, from your perspective, sustainability, innovation, how do you see platforms like Expo, this one particularly, in terms of serving more than just simple buy and simple sell?
I think platforms make these discussions strategic. And that's what we really want, right? We don't want individual transactional solutions. What we want is to be strategic. And on the platforms, we can now map that back to what are the big problems we're trying to solve. The other thing that I like about this concept is it derives what I'll call uncommon partnerships.
Interesting.
I think to solve the UN Sustainable Development Goals, which President Xi referenced yesterday morning, to solve them, it requires a lot of different companies, governments, agencies working together. So that's the uncommon partnership. It's really key.
I do now agree with you both more, you know, because we really trade CIIE as a great platform from an Agilent perspective. Not only, you know, we got a business return through signing many contracts with our Chinese customer, and more importantly for us is this platform provide great opportunities for Agilent to you know, to engage with our customers, thought leaders, even government officials. Even today's in-depth dialogue on the top media CGTN is a great opportunity to help us develop market insight, customer insight, and eventually, hopefully, give us more inspiration.
Well, when you're in the right place, there are a lot of things and also miracles that could happen, right?
Absolutely.
As simple as that. Before we go, last question for every one of you. The negotiation is still going on. Drag it all the way back to reality. Phase one or not, we don't know. From the business perspective, what do you mean? What do you look at the future is about? Alexa?
For DuPont, the future is absolutely all about empowering the world with the essential innovations to thrive. Innovation is critical. We don't focus on the uncertainty, we focus on the certainty. And the certainty is innovation is required for economic growth. And that's what we're committed to. And we so appreciate being part of the CIIE.
All right. Mr. Huo?
Number one, still very much appreciate, you know, agreement possible. Even phase one.
I guess the world is looking
I
at
really
that.
believe it is good news for China, for sure. For Agilent China, you know, 100%. You know, we don't know, uncertainty will be gone or not, but so far so good. It's better than no agreement. That's my strong belief. Second one is, you know, that is what we cannot control.
Right.
We are just control our job. Make sure we're doing our job well, serving Chinese customer better than our competition, and then doing our business.
Feng Huo from Agilent and Alexa Dembek from DuPont. What a pleasure to see both of you here at the CIIE.